Addiction thinks in circles, whereas invention thinks in spirals.
Yes. Yes,
And
yes,
I
yes.
love it. And spiral is not one dot, it's actually one seed becoming bigger and bigger and bigger
Mhm.
and bigger and bigger and bigger.
So I'm grateful for that. And then two, just the pain just reminding me like this body is so amazing.
Where else can you go
Hmm.
other than inside? And
Hmm.
when you're so almost like forced to face yourself, you find lots of love. It was his birthday yesterday. Well, actually, 2 days ago, technically, since he's an astrologer.
Yeah, so tell me about that.
By your solar return,
Why is it on the 20th?
because your sun comes back in the same exact degree where it was when you were born. So, and sometimes happens the day before, sometimes happens the day after. So this year, it's actually the day before for you and for me. So
Oh.
it's the imprints. When you look at the solar return, it's the second and a minute the sun come back into the same exact degree. And then
Hmm.
it outlines your entire year. So it doesn't change for the entire year until um, your
Yeah.
next year. So this is technically the also your ascendant changes, right? So everything changes. This is the energy that will push you into a new life this year.
Mm.
Pretty cool.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I didn't have a time to compare to see. I just looked at last 2 years and I wanted to see where my energies were and kind of makes sense
Hmm.
that you're putting all
Yeah.
your energies towards one aspect of your life rather than the other. So in this year, as of yesterday, 2 days ago, a lot will be revealed to you, my friend.
Yeah. I'm excited for the journey.
Hmm.
A
Well,
lot of
you're
eighth
already
and ninth
changing.
house energy.
You do?
Yeah.
Not for weak knees, for sure.
And then someone was telling me yesterday, because I'm 35 now, someone was telling me the 7 year cycles. If you go up the chakras, the root. So now we're at 35, you're in the third eye.
Mm.
Because he says you said all you need to say when you're 35. You're done talking. You don't need to say anything else.
Wow. And then in 37, it's your nodal return. So
Hmm.
you start. Ooh. When do we rest? Oh my God. We don't rest.
You rest in each moment.
Oh,
This Jinky was beautiful.
you liked?
Yeah, I thought it was like totally describing, in some ways, describing what you and I experience on this podcast. Um, and then of course I felt a lot of personal resonance to this one. Oh,
Mm,
I don't have it in my chart.
me neither.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this one. It was very soft.
It's gentle. Yeah.
Yeah, a gentle wind.
Hmm.
Yeah, and what did you recall? I have a story about this, really interesting.
Hmm. Go ahead. Stories are always good.
So yesterday, I was in a car and in a neighborhood where it's not super trafficy, so there's a lot of trees, a lot of homes, and a lot of silence. And then as I enter into the car, I just fe hear this ringing in the ear, and both ears, and it just rings, the harmonics, just waves after wave after wave. And I started noticing this in the recent time a lot. It's like I would sit in silence and just notice the entire orchestra of the
Mm.
sounds in my somewhere there. And I would think it's just an echo of the environment that I'm in, right? But then I wonder, I'm not in a loud environment in my sense. I'm actually in nature. When you go to the beach, for example, you hear the waves, the wind, right, in your ear. Rarely here and there I hear people's noise, right? So it's like in a park, like it's really not a people's noise most of the time. Nobody's yelling. It's just very naturey. You, I know it sounds weird. It's LA. It's a very loud city, but anyway, I'm
Depends
in
on
a
where you are. Yeah.
yeah, and I am. But you can hear the birds, which it's really like I don't know. I'm just tuning into it more vividly and aware.
Hmm.
And I'm entering the car and I'm like, wow, let me just, and I keep inviting myself to sit with the sound. And it literally comes, it goes, it comes, there's a wave that you can literally notice.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I text my girls because they're all clairs. And we started talking about the clairs, right? Clairvoyant, cognizant, and audio. And then I was like, who went on a class to figure out what Claire is there? And then one of them was just explaining, and everybody started like contributing to it. So we had this long discussion of what is this in a spiritual sense. And we also have a nurse on in the group. So she would know if it's like really the earring of the health related earring, I mean ringing. And it's funny because then I just drop it, right? So I want to know, I'm not gonna tune in and think that I'm like one of the Claires, right? So of course I'm gonna brush it off right away. It's really hard for me to take it. And then one of my friends said, if I don't know any other enlightened person more than you, and I was like, oh girl, I'm so far from being enlightened. And I was like, I don't even want to take it. I brush it off. I brush it off. There's an instantaneous no and refusal to take any type of anything that I am like much, in a sense, much more superpower powerish or out there tapping into some fields that no one else can. My mind cannot compute. I think we're all on the same level. Anyway. And then I'm walking the dog at night. I know, long story short, but I have a point. I'm walking the dog at night, and then I'm acutely aware of the sound. Sound's there. It's constantly there. And then suddenly the picture aligns. There's a crawl right above it. And then there's this little small little passage that I have to pass with the dog. Bunch of plants on the side, bushes. And there's this fine line of electrical cord. And she steps right above it. And then I think, is it an owl? Is it a crow? Oh, I'm making you fall asleep.
No, no,
But
no. Sorry.
all of it kind of aligned, right? And then I'm like, wow, to be able to hyper be aware of all these elements that are slowly, and then we got a stare. And I'm looking, and as I'm looking, I'm literally tuning into the bird, which really looked like a little mini person, actually, in the dark, like a little mini person. And then I started noticing a shadow there, a shadow there, a ghost there, a ghost there. I'm turning around and I'm full blown body. Wow, this is weird. Like I can sense a lot of things. I can't see them, I can sense them. And I'm looking and I'm literally moving around. It was really wild. And to read this morning, I was like, wow. Speaking of,
So you are Claire.
I'm unsure, but we apparently we're all Claire's.
Yeah, we're all Claire. Yeah, you have the capacity for all the Claires. And then it's just about attunement, sensitivity, and uh gentleness.
And not really disregard it or not toss
Yes.
it.
Or dismiss it when someone tells you you're enlightened.
Oh, please, next.
Very
I can't.
important.
No, no.
But here's the difference. Is identification with self you naturally will deny, as any sane person would deny. But when you
Yes.
are
Oh, I see what you mean.
relaxed, yes, when you're relaxed, when fear leaves your body, when you're not in comparison mode or hierarchy or structure or I, then the enlightenment is it's just an occurrence. It's happening.
But then at that point, you don't even need to say it, is my point. You
How
know?
mystical of you. How very enlightened of you to say.
Oh, please. Oh my God.
You
Something in
see?
me says not yet. Like, or in 10 lifetimes, right? So it's like it's I don't know. I
And
think too
I picked up
ignorant.
on this. I picked up on this too when I was reading. I could feel you, and I could feel that it's yeah, not much to say about it. It's just easier to see in another than it is in myself, right? So I see it in you.
Oh
The
my
sense
God.
of the sense of like I'm okay here on the beach. Like I don't want to let go and swim in the waters completely yet. Yeah.
Not yet. I'm reading Rudolf Steiner, and he does phenomenal breakdown of this and then that and then that and then that and then that. If
Yeah.
this to that,
Yeah.
then something is you're gonna it almost touches into the spiritual morals and ethics in
Yes.
which unless you know how to come back to your spine, you can get swayed not knowing. So that
Yes.
I think to me it's like to me is that is more important to get to a state of feeling very confident to be spiritually, ethically moral and right in a
Mm.
sense of, like not confusing the fields and everything. So I think that's why not yet, not yet. There's time.
Yeah. Interesting. Because I just picked up this not Gnostic text. I sent you some screenshots.
Mm-hmm.
This book called
Nice.
Mystery of the Golden Flower, and it's
Oh, I
all
have it.
about you have it?
Yes.
It's all about morality. I mean, that's the whole Gnostic approach is the moral approach to
Right?
sexuality and spirituality. Yeah.
Yeah, something in it is very it invites the universal law of nature.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking law and order that we made by our minds rather
Mm-hmm.
than the law itself, the
Yeah.
respectful in its own right that you know yeah,
Yeah.
something is there like calling this like really devotion to it. I can't explain it, it's foggy, but yeah.
Yeah. I would just say from personal experience, when you awaken these gifts, you have hmm, power temptation, and then there's a reciprocating force that occurs, and we project out either evil or good onto the world, onto the three dimensional. We project that out from our own heart, mind, and body. Um, and these decision points of like power, like, hmm, do you want power by all means? You don't care how you get it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that force of evil, and then the other side is, oh, you need to be purified and you need to it's almost like, yeah. I'm just paying attention to it because when I approached this previously, I came from a place of something's wrong with me and there's like things I need to not knock out before I can attain something. And now I'm like the attainment's already occurred. I've just I'm just experiencing this across a timeline. Like in a sense, I'm playing out the act of being three-dimensional and reading this book and learning this thing, participating. But it's already
Mm.
happened. It's already happened. Therefore, whatever I think is blocking me is largely an illusion. To a point, like there's things that we can let go of, there's blocks that we can remove. But my understanding is in the gentleness that you approach your own soul and your own mysticism, enlightenment, clair, your gifts, you if you're gentle, then you accept it with grace and curiosity, and also an understanding that you can't really grasp it because the moment you try to be very masculine about it, it leaves you. And I've felt this before, like, oh, I have this spiritual anomaly that I couldn't explain. In an effort to explain or to label it or to tell someone else about it, I find it goes away, right?
Yes.
So gentle.
And it almost invites that silence. Like you're just doing it for yourself. And I catch myself all the time because I'm the same exact. It's like, oh my God, it's so good. Let me tell you.
Yeah. But this week it's been interesting because I call them mm, like visually, I call them I can't even think of what I call them. I have like a name for it, and it's like, oh, the naming is a way for me to kind of be like, oh yeah, it's the thing again. Uh like artifacts. And
Mm.
so what will happen is like I'm entering a room, or I'm just it's usually when I'm by myself, and like something like darts across, or I'll see a shadow like launch, or else I think I see something like moving, crawling, or climbing, and
Ah,
I'm like,
Claire's. You're talking about
I'm
Claire's.
like I'm like artifact, yeah, well
Mm.
visually. And then the ears ringing was happening so much this week, and I was like, okay, here it comes, and just like you said, it
Hmm.
rises in pitch. And I'm like, well, if this keeps going, it's gonna burst, and then it just very gently comes back down.
Yeah.
And then, um, for me, this gift is really powerful, and I'm stepping into more like where I feel with you and I on the podcast. Is I think we get to a place where since that is Gene Keys, it does happen with Osho too, but like we're like hashing through the fear. We're talking about how it shows up. And then at some point we're releasing it to move into the gift. And then it's like we have these like vibrational states where for me, I feel like I'm buzzing. I feel like I'm like over caffeinated, but it's not like um false stimulation. It's just like I don't know how to describe it. Um and for you, the hand numbness, tingling
Hmm.
sensation. Yeah, this is a cool one.
And I love how he connects the clairs with the femininity inside, the intuition, this like sense that we all used to have before the mind
Mm.
came in and kind of took over. But at this moment of time that we're living in, it's almost like it's time for us to come back to that origination, that gestation of us as species too. It's like that deeply pulsates in the genetics, in our DNA. And you're right. Recently, and I will tell you, since these astrological big planets moved, which is the generational, all of them are generational movements, which even an inch of it changed a lot of awareness. Like my dreams are different. This is recent. You're talking not even a month. My dreams are very different. I literally cannot sleep at night. So I'm buzzing by
Mm.
some sort of vibration. I can't sleep. I'm tossing and turning. Like I'm using the techniques because I have them now, right? So you can come back to the technique to calm your mind so you can actually rest and recuperate your body to regenerate. I'm noticing, I'm hyper aware of my environment, meaning I'm noticing much more comes to my awareness. These clairs, the sound, even today, I'm like, I can hear a frequency. I can hear a
Mm-hmm.
clearly a sound which it wasn't there, or I wasn't aware. I think the
Mm-hmm.
awareness of the more in the environment is opening up. And what's interesting when that happens, and I give it a time to tune into it, time stops. I am like how I'm blinking, everything freezes. And I'm the only one moving actually. And I'm like, I'm now more welcoming it to tell me what it needs to tell me. And I'm not expecting anything, no words, no images, rather than I can hear the instruments. And when he says tuning fork, the words used in
Mm.
this is exactly what I used yesterday. So to me, I laughed because I was like, of course, he has to be
Yeah.
synced like this. It's like when it becomes so synchronized and life starts showing these little mini alignments, there's nothing I can say. It's like rather than, okay, I see you, I hear you, you're clear to me, whatever that you are, or me, right? It's
Yeah.
like it's too aligned. And Yeah, it's interesting. I'm learning how to be more comfortable with alignments.
Hmm.
Very, very powerful. But
Well,
it's there. Mm.
just quickly, I just want to say you're so good at one piece of it that most people struggle with, which is the expectations. Like you've
Oh,
always been so good at saying, no matter what, if this doesn't work out, it's all good and we can carry on and I have nothing for you.
did you see that?
What did you say?
Did you see the light behind you that just shut up?
No,
Oh
I'll
my
have to
God,
look
you
back
have to
later.
rewatch it. There's a clear light just shining, and then somebody was outside your window.
Hmm. Well, maybe someone is.
Eric, I'm not joking. Okay, cool. So cool. It was just wow. Sorry, continue.
Artifacts. Yeah.
Okay, but let's talk about this, okay? It will occur. The fact of the matter is that these things will show itself to us. That will show up to some of our clairs, to some of our awareness. And then what? Do you get freaked out by it? Do you totally suppress it right away? Is your defense system shows up and says, absolutely not, this is silly? Or do you want to start playing with it? Do you want to engage with
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. And even you saying like someone's behind you, it's like if you
it?
said there
I
was a
swear.
light, I'm like, okay, fine. And then you said someone, like you ascribe a body to it or an intention, and then I can feel fear in my gut and I'm
Hmm.
aware. I'm like,
He
what
moved
is,
actually.
yeah. I'm like, what is the difference? Is like we have like a storied expectation around someone else's intention, right? If someone's visiting in my space and they want something from me and they want to take something from me. It's like the stories of horror movies and Scarefest and Halloween. And I think back to a lot of my childhood, like being very curious about the dark and doing things that were like very odd. I was an odd child. Like I'm terrified of the woods outside my house. It's pitch black out. I'm gonna go for a walk in the woods because
Wow.
let's see what happens. And just feeling the fear and just like, but I just remember being like, I just want to feel, I'd rather feel the fear and step into it instead of feel the fear and be scared and like hide from it. And then it's like, it's just layers I think that we're shedding. And
Mhm.
like you said, the planet's really moving away from delusion into something else. It's like we're also being called a step forward. And part of that is facing the things that we've been afraid to look at and, what's actually behind it. Benevolent. To me, it's like I will ascribe benevolence to any phenomenon unless I'm given evidence that it's not true, and then I'll deal with it then.
Yeah, and I get it. And because your entire body is more benevolent in its nature, so of course it's gonna be naive in that sense. And I think that is what helps a lot too. It's like you're such a good soul.
And that's the morality piece, where it's like recursive, reflexive. And
Mm,
I think that's what actually is occurring is it's like you are awakening your astral body, emotional body, causal body.
mm-hmm,
So before you awaken or as you awaken, make sure your morality is sound because you're going
mm-hmm.
to be inviting in different energies and forces.
Yeah. And at that point, you wouldn't even know unless there's that anchoring of truth
Hmm.
that you discovered in within. That's why, you know. Oh, there's so much more to learn. And I'm not trying to intellectualize anything rather than the experiential, the knowing inside that is very clear. So, because this will come and face you, the equal opposition will come and face you, um, you know, and you're gonna need to look into it without having a weak knees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then part of the gentleness too for me is like okay, Eric, don't pretend like your stomach didn't turn when Melissa said someone's standing behind you. Just like, okay, be gentle with your own
I want to cry.
experience, your own reaction. Yeah, cry, please.
No, go ahead, please. I'm
Please cry.
slightly freaked out by it, but yes. And I love that
So
you're not. You don't, you're like laughing at it. You're real and you're real masculinity. I'm like, holy shit. I
yeah,
love it.
I mean, it's like you could play a worst case scenario, but I'm not even there. I don't know. Don't give it much attention
But let's talk
because
about Claire's. What did you feel other than fear? Was there anything else for you to get? Did you feel
at
anything
that
in your body?
at that moment,
Yeah, even now.
mm, mm,
But your
no.
gut went like this.
Yeah, in your description, and so my perception of this is like maybe that was your artifact and not mine, right?
Oh, I
It's like
see.
it's in my space, but if I'm not getting anything, if I'm not being affected, you're getting something very profound.
So I grew up deadly being afraid of dark. Deadly. It
Yeah,
was
me too.
in my bones. But I froze. I could not go and face in it. I
Did
wouldn't go in cornfields for
did you
life
have a
even.
basement? Did you have a basement in Serbia?
Hmm.
Do you remember? I don't know if you have lights in the basement, but
Oh, yeah,
I would
not
turn the
like
lights
in a
off in
movie.
that basement and I had to sprint up the stairs and I would have the sensation of someone
Grabbing.
grabbing at my feet. Same thing with my bedroom. I would have to turn the light off and jump across my room onto my bed because I'm like, and then the toilets happened because the movie It came out, and I think my
Ah,
parents were watching when I was supposed to be in bed, and I came down and saw like a short clip of it,
mm.
and I had like toilet anxiety for months after that, and shower.
Months. Yeah.
I couldn't shower. I was like stare at the drain. I'm like, and I would take such quick showers. Yeah, the fear was insane.
But you see, it's an innocent body, not even formed in a awareness, but a child that is so vulnerable to these. Because what would
Hmm.
child know? It's like you're almost like absorbing, and you almost have this potential to have energies leech on you, right? So it's weird. I remember the moment when I actually got super scared. This my dad took me on his shoulders, and he was a tall man at that time,
Hmm.
and we were somewhere. So, and it was above the fence. So they were down walking. I was
Wow.
on the top of it, and I just looked on the side, pitch dark, and I just froze. And I begged him to put me down, and he didn't. I begged him
Mm.
to put me down without being able to explain. And I think ever since then, I could not leave the house at 5:30. Sun is down. I am not going. I can't. I freeze. I literally would sit for years. I grew up like that, actually, in the chair
Mm.
waiting for my mom to come back from work. No TV, nothing. I would just like tune in and be like super afraid until a witch came and cleared it up for me. A witch.
No way. Really?
Yes. Yeah. And my grandma, because, we come from a very long traditions of witches. Not
Yeah.
we, like in general, that area. And then I
Yep.
even vividly remember the ritual with a spoon, with water, with some herbs, how she would toss these things across my head, and I would take them and take a sip of something, and she would speak tongues, and it was gone.
Mm.
It was gone.
Purifying your vessel.
It's crazy. I mean, now I'm thinking about it, I was like, wow, we see this intuition, this femininity that was so suppressed for such a long period of time of rise of a mind and science and religion and
Hmm.
systems that were just suppressing the femininity and intuitive healing. Like, yes, you can have you also had the black magic as well. So, but that's a that's a different talk.
Hmm.
But yeah. fear of darkness. For whatever reason, even now, I'm like aware, but I'm not frozen in my body. I can pass through it, but I wouldn't know exactly what room not to enter.
Yeah. Right.
So wild.
Yeah. Yeah, this is
Eerie.
this is like if Richard watched this, he'd be like, where are you guys getting this from? Where are you guys going? I'm thinking of Jace a lot, my middle child, because he doesn't spook easily, but he'll just like he'll have these moments where he'll freeze or he'll start crying and running to me. And I think
Mhm.
he's so Claire, he's so like open to the that world Scorpio rising that
Ooh.
it's just like he's consistently overwhelmed and doesn't know what to do with it. And then I don't always see stuff and I have to tune into his field and it's inconvenient, you know. That's part of being a parent too. It's like your tears right now are inconvenient. I'm trying to like finish dinner. I have hot hot stove on. I have this going. I have my other kid who wants something and then you want me to just hold you while you cry and panic. And it's tough. The hard part is like we can only do so much as parents and then reflecting back to our own childhood, you know. And then too, the interesting part of programming in the womb,
Mm.
in gestation, it's like, okay, there seems to be some common theme of like early first trimester, like these root fears come up, and maybe it comes up. I'll have to ask Carly if she remembers. Like, do your fears come up consistently in pregnancy in the first trimester? Like, what's the quality of your emotional mental state throughout each trimester? I'm just curious about that.
I was
Yeah.
thinking about her too while I was reading this. And then I was thinking about my mom and her mom and the environment, right? So he's saying we are, but imagine this now, from age of Pisces to age of Aquarius, we're literally born at the ends of something that for millennia or whatever, 2000 years, build the mind.
Yeah.
So our generational programming comes from an environment of constant fears and wars and scarcity and survival and fights and, you know, my
Control.
control,
Hmm.
fear, like lots of this pushed down just for the sake of going forward with the mind. It makes sense in a sense that that was what it was before. But now
Hmm.
we're literally birthing the very new and putting it all together. It's interesting. Yeah. But my
Hmm.
grandma, she grew up in a Second World War.
Yeah.
She always had this story. The airplanes would go this way, we would go up the river. The airplanes we go that way, we would go against it, right? So there were always seven of them in the family. No father, just mother and seven children. Imagine
Hmm.
fear consistently. So, yes, even if you are in an environment that is causing you to constantly fight, flight, freeze, fear, you also
Yeah.
have unconscious ones that you're carrying from your generations as well, operating.
Yeah. And imagine just how many generations before that when it was, soldiers on foot marching through your town
Mhm.
or raiding the village or something like that. Yeah.
Tough
Yeah.
time.
Not
Tough past, actually.
Yeah, for sure. And how different it is now. It's like the concept of like
Hmm.
in so like I remember learning about Civil War and they would just describe it in a history class and the tactics were like, this line of soldiers and then this line of soldiers and then they made an agreement about when it started and then they just pointed guns at each other and started shooting. It's like, what the heck? What like, from a tactic logic perspective, it doesn't make any sense. But it probably seemed civilized compared to the barbaric nature of what came before that, and it's like we evolve through these stages, but ultimately it comes back to our this genetic predisposition to preserve the eye by all means necessary. And of course, in this new age, we are redefining what I is, and the boundaries are flexing and changing and shifting, and it's all becoming more ethereal. And and part of that is like this uncertainty. It's like the most uncertain time that most people have ever felt.
Hmm.
And, how do you move through that? You look for a mystic or a witch.
Or you just
um,
trust your gut, or your gut, because
or you
everybody
start a
has it.
podcast.
But everybody
Yeah,
has a gut, right? And everybody is, my hair just looks crazy.
it looks
Um,
great.
eh, Everybody talks and speaks. I trust my gut. I hear people say this, not all the time, but they're using it in their language. I never heard my mom say that,
Yeah,
my
but
grandparents.
now she's saying it.
But there's a gut feeling. There's something else other than what I see here and taste, right? And smell.
Mm,
Or you tell me so. I think it's like pushing us to really tune into it and it's fighting it. But I really love to put the puzzles together for it all to make sense. So in a transpersonal development or that which no longer serves you, when you transcend that which is the mind, it speaks about the spirit just landing on you as a force.
mm,
And it kind of touches the dark night of the soul. Hence why, like when if you don't know what is occurring, you're gonna have a dark night of crisis, right? So you're gonna have the edge of the crisis when you're gonna think this is it. I no longer can sustain it. But if you know what is occurring, you're aware of it, meaning you're welcoming it, you're slowly building that capacity, or you're slowly, patiently allowing itself to show itself in a time when you are capable of handling it. It's actually really, in a sense, soft in nature. It's gentle. It's a gentle landing. It's not like a force. The force is us pushing against it.
mm,
But these spaces, when we exchange, when we talk, when we learn from each other, when we elaborate and give it a potentiality in itself and spontaneity, it's like these things will happen more and more, and they will be more and more vivid to your awareness. And the landing is softer, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Beautifully said.
Mm.
Um, this puzzle I was contemplating, which so I just recently found out that I have H. pylori, which is it's like a gut bacteria which has something to do with inflammation and has a host of symptoms that you can ascribe to it, but primarily being like gut inflammation and then inflammation throughout your whole body. And in reflecting on it, I'm like putting the pieces together of, all these moments in my life where things didn't quite make sense, or I didn't have the right functioning, or I wasn't responding the same way to things. Um, and that's on a personal level. And I'm thinking, gut is so closely linked to your mood and especially to your brain, like your brain waves and your brain states. So like depression, they found a clear link to your gut health. And so if you have a gut dysbiosis and depression, if they just treat the gut dysbiosis, it's like 9 times out of 10 that depression goes away.
Hmm.
It's like so clear. And now they know like that you have neurons in your gut as well as in your heart. It's like the three centers, right? It's like
Hmm.
where do we do our thinking from? But I'm from a personal level, I'm like, okay, what does this mean for me? But I also feel this on a collective level. And this goes back to when you said trusting your gut and how this is a very gentle awareness. But we have probably the most sick guts right now
Oh,
than we've had in forever because of processed foods and other inflammatory elements, environmental as well, like all the plastics and exposure to chemicals through could be like spraying food or just spraying around your apartment or maybe it's sprayed out of airplanes in the air, who knows? But um yeah. So part of this puzzle piece is like, okay, I think some of the awakening is actually going to be relative to how much healing we have within our own bodies, and especially as it relates to the gut and the heart, of course, a very key piece. But I'm curious to see how that plays out, and it's like how does health and spirituality, how did those things change and adapt in the age of Aquarius? How does this move
mm,
forward, and how quickly do people become aware of it? And I think part of this uncertainty, it's like this gut feeling of like, I don't know, I can't hardly tell what's truthful anymore. Like, is this AI or is this someone's narrative that they're pushing to get more likes? Like, and then at some point it's like you distrust all of it and
yes,
you could go back to what's true for you. And then in
yes.
that, you become gentle and sensitive to your own vessel, in your own needs. And there's a breaking point there too, because it's like before I found out I had H. pylori, I had to like admit that I needed to get a test done, and part of that admission was like, how do I actually really feel? How does my gut actually feel? How does my body feel? And in that process of admission, like I had a pretty big breakdown, and I was, just crying and thinking like, wow, this is how I've lived, and just thought it was normal, and or thought, this is my yoke, my suffering, um, and something that I just have to deal with. And it's like, part of the gentleness is this acceptance of what is, and then this in the acceptance of what is, the allowance of possibilities to, do you want it to change? Do you want to become healthier again? Do you want to go on this path, on this journey? Because sometimes the prospect of healing is more difficult than just the acceptance or like the denial of our realities. And I see that a lot too, especially in my close family, because we see alike so much so that I can kind of see through someone's psyche and can tell that they're in such denial. So it's like not only denial of the suffering of self, but also the denial of the suffering in the world. And it's too much to bear. And when it's too much to bear, it manifests somewhere inside us as trauma. It's like we're going to hold it in our tissues. Um, so in a personal reflection, I think this manifestation in my gut, it is, I can see the genetic linkage from the feminine side of my family of like, it's too much to bear,
Mm,
right? Therefore, this manifestation of disease creates some border, boundary, distraction, whatever you want to call it, against the victimization that I find myself in. It's almost
mm,
like sickness itself allows me to be an acceptable victim versus having no sense to it, having no meaning behind it, having no reason. This injustice or this feeling that life isn't fair or life is suffering. And okay, now there's an internal match to the external. Now I can continue living. And so it's like deeply, deeply sad. And all I can do is work on that within me, manifest out a new vibration, and just hold it in my space. And then when people enter into that space and if they feel the shift, they feel the change and they're ready to match to that, or they're ready to like, or they see it and they want a piece of it, it's like that's when it happens. And I spent so much of my time like pushing my ideas on other people, and it was from here. And it's so much more powerful to just center your being and allow that to be the awakening force. Yeah. Gentle wind. It's so gentle.
Gentle wind. Well, is it curable?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, and it's beautiful to have Carly as my partner because she invests so heavily in like learning and knowing all of this because she can use it if she has a client that has it in the future, but she's also just deeply curious. And so she like studied, and I have I have her note page here. It's got my name and it's got like all these notes about supplements that can help. And
Mm.
so there's like, she's got me on like his 2 month protocol with a few supplements, and then we'll retest. If it looks like it's clearing up, then I have some parasite. I have a parasite and then one other thing that we could kind of work on after that. So yeah, I'm grateful for her.
Yeah. And I find it really interesting because you have a household full of knowledge about the guts. And you see, it's like the more you know, the more you're afraid of it.
Mm.
So now it's like, wow, did it have to be gut and not a shoulder? Do you see what
Hmm.
I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
could have been the thong rather than the actual gut. And it's interesting because there's, I find this really like, okay, cause and effect. I'm not gonna go in that rationality, but rather than like everything is kind of connected in its
Hmm.
sense. Everything makes sense when you really put the dots together, your environment, connections. Right? But it's your immediate, as if you're bending the space, and with that space, you're also bending someone else's space, and that space is your big valley of bended space just for you. And and I'm kind of part of it too. So we're kind of bending each other's spaces and altering each other's manifestations too, in a sense. Really interesting. But yeah, as you were talking, I'm like, oh my God, like to plant food, still the soil is toxic. To do this, still
Yeah.
you're almost like trapped. Anywhere else you go to find the water from the source, who knows? It's like we're faced constantly with not trusting anything anymore. This
Hmm.
less trust in our environment brings us back to trusting the only thing left, which is
Hmm.
self and building that. It's almost like it has to be so much no and rejection of the environment in order for us to become valuable to our own selves and really reliant.
Yeah.
And you can't rely on what five senses anymore. You have to evolve to rely on something else, which is the sixth, the seventh, who knows how many more.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. There's definitely a
The,
process of letting go. But
yeah.
when
And there's
you,
this, go
yeah, go
ahead.
ahead.
No, no, go ahead.
When you were saying cause and effect, and then you started talking about gravity, I was like, I was kind of like linking into that, and then you just, I don't know if it was like, so part of one of my, sorry, sorry, I'm like stuttering over here. One of my clearest clairs is hearing people's thoughts. And it comes out like in a way where I'm like, is this my own thought? Or like what just happened is I almost, you said cause and effect. You said I'm not going to go into cause and effect. And my mind went like, brought all these pieces in, and then you said exactly where my mind had gone. And then, so it's like this, am I hearing your thoughts? Are you picking up on some of my thoughts? Are we mixing the two? And I don't know. And it's like, I have to let go of who gets credit. It's like, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
But,
Fascinating.
yeah, but that piece on gravity, like you said, I think it really resonated with me. And I couldn't stop smiling because, um, I feel that you're touching the truth of the causal plane, which is it's more. Oh, you didn't say the word you didn't say the word gravity, maybe, but it's much more of like this vibrational webbing that interlaces
Hmm.
all place and all time, and it's like it's like a force less than it is. This happened, therefore, like logic. It's not logic. It's just more of like a weight or yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
like how
I was
gravity
just
works,
thinking,
space and
wait,
time. Mm-hmm.
I love it. We're now tapping into each other's fields. Yeah, I was thinking, wait, and I actually had a visual of this web in the, science of quantum physics. And for some reason, Stephen Hawking came to me. It's like that matter that lifts down and it waits. And then as you were speaking, it's like, and yeah, and then you have this here and there and here, random, lightened offload souls that
Mm.
come in and pull the web up, for it to rise because we're so deeply going down deeper and deeper, deeper. And I wonder, where is the end of how much suffering we can actually endure?
Oh, there's no end.
I often think of virus, of a cancer. Cancer is a really good example. It grows until it destroys itself.
Can. Yeah, it can.
It acts in the body, it finds the host, and then it just starts eating up the cells and killing the cells and then becoming this dead cell bulk, right? This is how I think of it. And until its entire body actually gives up and this kills itself. So he said here, which gave me chills. He goes, we have come just about as far as we can within these relatively low band frequencies. If we tarry much longer, we will indeed enter the very phase of self destruction that terrifies us the most. One thing is sure, the mind cannot figure its way out of our current situation, either individually or collectively, unless we drop. And then he goes, but there's good news too. But right, so how far deep down this weight of the mind can actually take us in this fear? Because it does, in a sense, feels like the moment you enter into the fear field, the weight is just heavy. You don't even need to think about it. You're literally entering into the weighted part of self, weight. So you get drained out of energy for life completely.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Um, Density. Identification creates densification. So the density is the weight. And so the identification with self, fears, and desires creates that weightiness. And he said, enlightened beings come and pull it up. The vision I got is their weight becomes the identification of unity. And so they identify with the whole field and it feels like a pulling up because they're just removing their the weight of I, the weight of ego.
Ah, like leaving it there.
Just like dispersing across the whole field and then upholding that instead of time and place. Here I am, my story, my body, my yeah.
Mhm. Totally got the visual. Totally. I know.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you mean. So
Is
cool.
yeah, is sixth house is typically the house of health, right?
Daily routines, work, service, health, yes. Wellness.
I'm just reflecting about Libra because we're talking about it about health quite a bit. But unease is disease, pretty similar, so that makes sense.
Yeah. This is the Libra Jinki, and it's about harmony,
Hmm. Yeah.
the balance. It's a almost refusal to engage in disbalance
Right.
or refusal to argue and fight.
Hmm.
It seeks harmonics, where everything is just a sound and wave, and it's like it makes sense. It's evened out. It seeks that, and it cannot do. That's why the Libra is the house of seven, seventh house, which is the total opposition from who we are on ascendant side, who
Hmm.
we seem to be, and we literally have the furthest spot on horizon that represents Libra, and for it to be whole, it has to also see that, which is total opposite. That's why it's on descendant on the seventh house. That's why we meet,
Hmm.
others that will actually show us this.
Hmm.
That will help mirror what we need in order to be whole.
Hmm. Hmm.
Interesting. I didn't know it's Libra. I was actually wondering which sign it is, of course. But the
Hmm.
picking up from the frequencies and feeding, eating same food. It's like, I love this. I think it's like this synchronicity um, is too unreal. I literally am not joking. Looked back and I was like, I wonder what sign this is. And you come in and you say it's Libra. And I think in that field of weight or light, doesn't matter, somehow we find each other to speak the same language. Somehow we operate on the same exact radio station. Something
Hmm.
clicks. And I think this is more and more possible now. I really find it so sweet in so like cute, so sweetened. It sweetens the daily life when you find someone who you tune in, and you find yourself belonging with that person for that right moment together in a field of something
Hmm.
that you don't
Nice.
even know. I think it's so cool.
Hmm. Yeah. It's I find it's a gift. Uh, it's like thinking of a like we watched Tarzan with the kids recently, and he has this crisis of identity because he feels he doesn't fit in with the apes. And then his mom shows him his reflection in the water, and he just sees all the parts that don't match, and she identifies all the parts that do match. And it's like
Mhm.
when you meet someone who's energetically matching to you, and they reflecting back to you the parts of you that are resonant, like that are great things. And we typically, when we look at ourselves, or when we come with such self-judgment and criticism, more so than any other human could have against us for the most part. And it's a gift to meet someone who's just like holding this higher space and matching with us, and then just holding us there,
Mm.
not even having to do anything. It's like even if you just briefly have an interaction and have this knowing smile with each other, and I think as we continue forward, potentially, I don't know, I can't predict the future. I have to remind myself that, but I think and less words will be needed as we awaken these gifts, and also just attune ourselves to the frequencies that are totally existent. We haven't even touched on sound yet, and how sound is like the permeating layer behind everything.
Go for it. We have time.
Oh, was that right in the beginning? Yeah. Even light can be reduced down to a sonic signature, which is just mind blowing, just that alone.
Mm.
So the entire work of the 64 Keys is a human attempt to paint a picture of the universe of different frequencies that we inhabit and that move through us and around us. At the highest level, as we shall see, we humans are quite simply made up of layers of flickering and alternating sound waves.
I love it.
It's the it's funny to start the shadow with like the cosmic joke perspective of, you know, laying the foundation. We didn't touch on that, right? Am I bringing this
On
up even
sound?
though we already talked about it? Yeah.
No, we
Okay.
didn't. But let's make sure we do. But what do you find fascinating? Tell me about the sound. What do you find fascinating?
Well, I opened it up and I started reading and I was like, "Oh my God, I just had a conversation with someone about this." And I went, "No, I didn't. I think I dreamt it." And I was like, "Wait, did I dream it or did this?" And then I just had to let go completely. I'm like, "What?" It's like it's like I came to this already having the first paragraph told to me somehow. I don't know. It's like potentially I'll ascribe it to a dream because it's the easiest thing to do. But, with Neptune being in Aries, it's like the dreams themselves are becoming different, we'll say, becoming a little bit different. And then we have this interplay of lucidity, and this blending of, am I awake still? Am I dreaming still? Did I dream that? Did this occur? Is this person I'm interacting with right now? Like, am I actually on a podcast with you, or am I dreaming this too? You start to question it a little bit.
Yeah, it was funny because he leaves the 13 years worth of us being delusional, so-called,
Yeah.
and we're entering into a clarity. And in the
Hmm.
clarity, we're more delusional than we were just 15. It's like, what is dream? What's reality? These two, is it the same? Because mind doesn't
Hmm.
know the difference really when you really think about it. It's that expression of the moment that comes in. So when you said, let's talk about the sound, I was like, what are you talking about? It's not even in this jinky. I was like, well, tell me more. And then I couldn't even connect the dot. And then you're saying it may be the dream. I had total clear deja vu that this already occurred, that we're talking or not. That to me sounds more delusional than anything. So what is the truth? And we're now
Yeah.
exchanging into this like field of total delusion. Oh my God. Imagine being
Hmm.
lost. One of the things that is imagine imagine being lost. Imagine being lost.
That's
Cornfields keep coming up in my mind. Cornfields. Friend of mine lives in a cornfield. She said there are crying babies sounds every night, and it's really scary because her entire sound is somewhere there in Indiana is surrounded by the fields of corn. And of course, she's deadly afraid. She lives there all her life. She grew up with it and still lives there with her family. And I'm like, I just the thought of it, it's like I can't do it.
yeah. Well,
I
it's
can't.
like it's probably clairaudient, something she's picking up on, or morphogenic. She's picking up on the field.
But imagine being lost and not knowing what is occurring, like not knowing what is occurring. Because this is the reliant tool that we have had for such a long time to lean into as truth or not, or valid to contain, to, like now you're talking about taking off the head completely and not knowing what the truth is without having another tool developed to guide you. That's scary. Yeah. I mean, in a sense, it's really scary. Imagine, just simply imagine not
I
knowing
have a hard
anything.
time, yeah, imagining. I learned from solo traveling that I can't get lost despite all attempts.
Mm. You mean of your vagabonding time of your life?
Yeah. There's like clear instances when I should have been lost and just for whatever reason I just could orientate so well using like with the sky or with buildings and yeah. Even like blackout drunk, still, not a proud time in my life, but I could still orientate to where I needed to go. So, yeah. To be lost, I would
Mm.
have to be in the middle of the ocean and have no landmarks or
Like kayak
then
across the Atlantic.
yeah, yeah. But then still it's like, the ancestors of the Hawaiian Islands navigated with the stars and they were not lost. They were had such confidence in their ability to navigate that way. So
Hmm.
it's like, yeah,
Colombo, this way. If a woman was to say it, I don't know, a woman actually take across the unknown territory in the time when everyone thought the earth is flat to fall
yeah,
off the cliff,
yeah.
right? It's like something about you males or male identify creatures just has a clear, I don't care. Or there's a space that it's not fulfilled with extra worry
Mm.
or fears. So, like,
Well, I think Aries rising too. I'm like, I'm just gonna, because usually I find it's like I might feel lost and I'm stagnant and I'm like, well, the worst thing I can do is just stay here and then I start moving and then that's when the orientation occurs out of it. So it's like, okay, thank you, Aries, and then also thank you for Pisces just keeping the chill. I'm like, oh, I've done this before, so what's the worst that can happen?
I mean, true. And I was just talking to my mom yesterday about this too. It's like I left the country not knowing where I'm going. I only saw this little mini TV and the show Baywatch at that time with Pamela Anderson. It's like
Yeah,
I didn't actually know where I'm going. I didn't speak language. I just went. Something inside of me pushed me towards it. But all I needed to know, and I literally went left and right across the country to find a person who went and came back alive. That's all I wanted to know.
yeah,
You went to United States, to America, and then you came back alive. That's all I wanted to know, that I'm not going to be, that it exists, that
yeah,
it's real.
yeah, yeah.
And then I don't know where I'm going. But something inside of you, and you see that intuitive knowing that makes the decision for you, that trust in parts of you that are not logical, esoteric in sense, like very out of you, protective for you, with you, work with you. It's like that is a gift to recognize in life and really loosen up a little bit the grip of fears.
Hmm. So who did you meet? Did you meet someone who?
Oh yeah, things aligned. And I woke
Yeah.
up with this Saturday. I was second grade, I was second year of college. I just woke up and I was like, I'm gonna go to the United States. And then I called my few friends and they said, you're crazy. No, don't. Do not. You're gonna get kidnapped, you're gonna get trafficked,
Hmm.
you're gonna get drugged, you're gonna get ta 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 ta. They gave me everything. And I was like, I'm not asking you, I'm informing you.
Hmm.
Thank you. Do you know anyone? Do you know anyone? Do you know anyone? And I just went. My entire 6 months worth of travel was just, okay, where are you? Which city? I'm coming. I want to meet you. Let's have a coffee. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk.
Mm.
But everything aligned. And I think that's how alignment in life can occur, really, when I retrospectively look into my life. Everything aligned. You remember? The alignment was your guys's fit for service, airplane decision, leaving Michigan, coming to Hawaii, having your own community. That was the alignment. Doesn't matter. The alignment was, the decision was
Meeting
already
you.
made. Yes, sitting with that, getting COVID.
Yeah. Getting hit by a truck. Yeah, all of it. And
Alignment.
yeah, in hindsight, and this is the city here, it's clarity. It's like in hindsight, it's been aligned, so we have this perspective easier looking back. And then in the moment, it goes back to me, it goes back to okay, are you in the shadow of unease? Where's your gut? Where's your heart? Is your mind trying to control and grasp and attain? And when you're in ease, you process from a place of intuition, which is from the hara. It's from this deep place of being. Just occurs, like, you know, and that's the resonant frequency that upholds us all. So it's like this feeling of being lost. Once similar to like, okay, you're scared of the dark, and I had this intuition. I'm mostly scared because I haven't gone into it. So let me go into it and let me be terrified. And I was like, instead of going into it and being tough and like, no, there's, and like denying all of my fears, I was like, no, I'm gonna go into it and I'm gonna imagine the worst things from all the horror movies I've seen because I used to watch
Hmm.
a ton of them. And I'm gonna imagine they're all in the trees watching me and I'm being followed and I'm being chased. And I'm like, I'm just gonna, it was almost like if I'm gonna die to that, let me die to it. And I just accepted it. And
Mm.
then I came out the other side and I was like, huh, that was horrible. I feel grossed out, but at the same time, I had a sense of greater peace than I did before. And it's like, okay, you know, this alignment that you talk about, it's unpacking it.
Mm.
Um, but anyway, you brought up feeling lost, and then I took it on a tangent and potentially took it away from where you were originally.
Well, no clue. What I was thinking is like sometimes you just said I acknowledged the fear, um, the darkness, and I accepted it. And then I felt, in a sense, almost liberated from it, or much less fearful, fearless almost, because you accepted it. This click, I think it's so, it plays. There is a, what?
I just remember feeling like manic, and I was like laughing with the amount of fear as I'm in the woods. I'm just like I'm like that's someone standing there, and then I just remember laughing because it's like, what do you do if you're gonna die? You know,
Yeah.
like,
If it's
man.
meant to happen, it will happen. But this acceptance comes as a tool as well. Like almost like, okay, well, if that's it, that's it. You remember we were talking about the airplanes and the flights and the fear and the panic. It's like, but watch what happens. It's like you're now aware that you're underneath the panic. You're actually getting absorbed. And in the city, he says, you get to a point where this fear is no longer inside of you. You're aware that it's actively outside of you, that something just comes as a layer, as a way of squeezing you, this like almost like a shield that comes upon you. But the awareness of it is that, oh, it's not like I am feeling it deeply inside, rather than something is telling me or it's coming at me. Let me work with it. Let me understand it. Let me feel
Move with
feel
it.
it, move it. Yeah, move with it. And
Hmm.
you also mentioned something I just want to touch base. It's like when you're at ease, when you're at ease, meaning when you're regulated, that you can actually clearly see what plays and what role, who, what, and how. It's kind of intermingling. When you're at ease, when you're regulated,
Hmm.
you can face the fears. The problem is that fear dysregulates you completely. So there is a part of practice that you have to learn about the fear, as if it's the layer or entity or shield that it's coming and wants to dance with you. But rather than
Yes.
gripping its hands on you, you can kind of almost control it. You have a power to understand it, and the mind, as beneficial and dangerous that it can be, it can also be very helpful once programmed. So the meditations and practices of it is very much only and only and only to program the mind, to reprogram the mind, to slow it down, to make it disappear and kind of just shut up for a second.
Hmm.
And I thought about this yesterday. So when coming back to the clairs and the sound that was just coming in into the field, I was like, huh, my mind just stops. In the moment I enter into this invitation, this ringing invitation, I'm like, okay, let me stay here. I'm not going to think any of it. And I am learning how not to think about it rather than listen what occurs. And I sat there in a car because my car is vacuums out, which is even better. It's like totally discharges all the majority of the noise from the field. It's like sealed,
Hmm.
really sealed into this like bubble. And I sat there, parked in the neighborhood. Nobody passed by. There's no noise. I just sat there and I tuned into it. I was like, wow, I can actually hear the instruments coming in and out. And how do I feel about it, right? So I didn't really give it excuse me, any meaning. But, like
Yeah.
I was regulated in a sense. I wasn't fearful. I didn't have any threat in my body. My nervous system didn't recognize this as like a concept that I should be rejecting right away. My nervous system loosened up enough for me to enter and see what it is. And I sat there for a good 15, 20 minutes until it actually slowed down.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, he accepted it. And that the
Mm,
the parallel of sound here and the symphony is so beautiful. And it's like, okay, in our unease, or if you imagine someone who is has a sensation of unease and there's music playing, everyone in the room is dancing, and what are they doing? They're frozen or they're maybe trying to dance, but they can't quite open themselves up enough. It's like this is what we experience in ecstatic dance is um everyone brings something different to it, but we're all opening up, and it's the job of the DJ to bring the most bring I was just talking, I have a DJ friend, and bring people up collectively. So he says like, you can start the dance and on song one you can have someone in front of you and they're just like they're staring at you, their eyes are wide and they're ready to go and they're just amped. He's like, don't go off of them, go off of all the women in the back who are still warming up. And it's akin to lovemaking. It's akin to the symphony. It's akin to
mm,
these these elements of, it's gentle, it's soft, it's like it's nurturing, it's caretaking. And this is the relationship we have with who we are in the universe, because if this is all made up of sound, we could be reduced down to sound waves. Even the light that we see through our eyes is somehow, like, we don't understand it, right? But it's somehow all sound. So it's like we are part of this symphony. And if we
mm,
are at unease, we're like an instrument that, uh, like a celloist, and we're just holding the bow so tightly, we're just unable to sway with the music, to allow it to move us and to move with it and to have this interplay. And it could, like some songs sound like there's a fight happening, and some sounds like there's heartbreak, and some sound like victory. And it's like all of it is part of this play, and the instrumentation that we come in with. This is our genetic lineage that we carry forward, and this experience of having a podcast with you is this upgrading of our genome through these keys that we unlock. Um,
mm.
yeah, it's like I get on these like epiphanies, and there's so much to say, but then there's also so little to say.
And you remember how you said earlier, it's like we'll end up having nothing else to say.
Yeah, maybe we'll just sing to each other.
I think that would be so cool to get to a point where there's really nothing else to say. Because it's just rather allow it.
Hmm.
Looking at the beginning where we were versus now, we have less to say. Meaning there's more space. Just we said nothing.
Yeah, yeah. We're more comfortable with all of it, really. Much
Mm.
I'm much more comfortable with this feeling of not making sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And being awkward.
Being awkward, being insane, oversharing, feeling
Well,
overstimulated.
totally. This whole recording today felt a little awkward to me. It's like so awkward. We're so off. If you ask me, it's so off, right?
Really? Oh no, I'm
Yeah.
like I feel like
I,
we're
on
locked
point.
in. It's yeah. So maybe it's just me.
Yeah. Interesting. And as I said it, I just got lightheaded, like as if the top of my head just lifted. Zzz.
Hmm.
Weird, weird.
Acceptance. That's it. You had this sensation, you had this layer of criticism or doubt or whatever judgment, and then you accepted, you acknowledged, and then you went somewhere else.
I'm not even judging it. And that's the best part. It's like I actually am so uncomfortable. There's part of me actually that is uncomfortable with how silly this entire podcast was.
Yeah.
Trying, and I'm like, wow, I'm noticing it and playing with it. I'm not at all judging it. I am allowing it to happen. That too is a part of us.
Hmm. Hmm.
But the entire time I keep feeling is that it's to enter and then I think I'm pulsated out, like I'm pulsed
Hmm.
out from entering deeper, in which the moment we enter deep, which are very frequent for us to do, like we can enter and float in a depth of whatever discovery that we're going through. But we're really more and more, how I find it, we're disregarding the surface, which if I disregard that, which is light in nature and fun and joyful also, like a surface, generic or ordinary, the more I get like deeper lost in it. So I think to me, this was the test of staying at the surface because I couldn't drop in and I wanted, and then I couldn't. There was no supporting
Mm.
parts of me coming into the depth of it. And I guess that's just how the day is going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I felt like that um a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, it's just kind of random
Mm.
for me, but there was one recently where I was like uh yeah, that reminded me of the old podcast where it was more heady, like good ideas and still a good time, right? But just not like this profound, eclipsing, soul moving, resonant place. But it's okay, so I want to touch on something. This gene key to me spoke to something we had talked about, I think in 56. And we were talking about the place we get to and when your hands go numb
Hmm.
and I had
Hmm.
asked you, you were like, but I can't remember exactly, but you had implied like what's the point of staying there? Or like you had implied that you didn't want to stay in it
Hmm.
or go to the depths of it or like find out how far it went. And I was like, why not? And you're like, it was almost a conversation that moved into being alive versus dying.
Hmm.
um and to me this jinky was just like pulling on that thread, pulling that out and saying, if you want to look at it again, if you want to explore, then we can.
I love it. I love how silly all of this is. Okay. No, but you make such a good point. Yes. I think it's too good. It becomes too blissful. Wait, wait, wait. Let me explain. It becomes too shattering. What?
I'm biting my tongue.
It becomes too shattering. It becomes so heightened that I start laughing and letting go really fast. And yes, I can continue, but I think my capacity grows with it because it's visiting me more and more often, right? So it's not gone, it's there. And I
Mm-hmm.
want to dance with it. I want a tango. I want a seduction. I want more from it, right? Actually, there's no desire with it rather than imagine tempting yourself by something that you will never achieve. That's what I mean, imagine not achieving it. That which you shouldn't, because you don't want to achieve infinity and eternity. It's impossible. So it's almost like playing and dancing tango, which is very seducing, and teasing and tempting and this is where the energies of push and pull play within, and come to join together when I am hard to catch, but I also want it. And then I'm playing harder to catch, right? It's like, no, but it's true. Think about it. When you're playing with such energies, you don't want to be caught right up front. The moment you get everything is the moment all of it will be gone. So, in a sense, I'm playing with it. That's why I don't want it because it's too much to bear. And really, it's too much to bear sometimes. Okay, so this is new. The sound thing that I'm listening, it's like there is a moment of me when it's too much to bear. And I'm honoring the too muchness. Okay, good. For now, enough. You know how he says, Osho, enough for today. And then
Mm-hmm.
next time, more and enough for today. I like that. I'm not trying to control it, but there's a part of me that takes on the capacity and says, enough today. The rubber band can hold you this much until it becomes stronger and then takes on. But yeah, you always want to get and conquer something. I don't. I don't ever want to conquer. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
I never want to take full off of everything that there is because I trust it will come eventually. I wouldn't even know that I'm already there. It's like, but why
Say that
take
again.
I wouldn't even know that I'm already there. So why even wanting it? So why not coming back to 3D life on the surface and keeping it light just for change? Just for change.
Keeping it light. This is also paradoxical and lovely.
You don't think this is a light conversation? To me, this was so light. Well,
Um,
later in sense of I'm not getting lost. I'm actually really here in my head.
good. Oh, hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't think I could tell the difference, but you said something
Really?
to me. Yeah, I don't. You said something to me, which, yeah,
Please.
it's like it's like I can't help but dance with you, and you're giving me a lot to dance with, and it's just fun to participate in it, and maybe that's what it is coming across as silly. I don't know, but I had you say it again.
What?
You said maybe I'm already lost it. Maybe I wouldn't even know it's happening to me. Like at
Yeah.
what level of awareness do you need to know that something is happening? Or it's like, how much preparation do you think you need? And you talked about morality in the beginning of this talk, and you're like, oh, there's something with morality. So it's like, and then you say, I don't need to control it. It's something that I allow to come in. And then when it's done, I move past it. I move beyond it. But then right after that, you said, essentially, how would I even know whether I'm in it or not? So the
Hmm.
question really is, when are you not in it? And what's the distinction that you're making in your mind that's saying it's not happening now, or it's not, or I'm not ready yet, or no, I need a break from it, or it came and it played with me and now it's gone. Because on some level, this is the illusion that you are separate from
Mhm.
that, separate from, yeah. And I dance with you and I let you, if you want to go on your way, you can.
I mean, I don't know if there was a question out there, but there is something I wanted to say on that. It's like there is a realization that what I know is no longer here. Like almost
Mm-hmm.
like it's left behind for me not to know again. As if, okay, I'm gonna try to describe it. As if when we get birthed and all our memory is gone. We don't know where we come from, where we are, and then we're trying to come back to that knowing. There is the sense of consistent rebirth of novelty, like of newness, of something new that is occurring, which by default almost leaves the old behind, irrelevant. It doesn't matter if I know or not. So even if I'm playing with it today, for example, and I think of it as not deep, right? Or part of me cannot enter. So there's this clear, not today shut door. Like I can feel it. Like it's a sense that I cannot explore in the fields that I absolutely enjoy coming in and habitating. But it has to do with the way that I woke up. So I can tell my mind is already took the grip on me. Now I'm trying to loosen up the mind because he wants to go someplace else. He wants to do something else, right? So I'm like, okay, I can drop. I have this whole field available to me to drop. I have this time, I have the space, I have the ability to do it. But something inside of me comes in and says, nah, 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 nah. And that I have to accept as well as the part of my own
Yeah.
reality in this moment
Mm-hmm.
because even though this was the case all the way up to yesterday, yesterday is no longer part of me. And I don't even know. So to force myself to drop into it, I can't. I literally simply can't.
Mm-hmm.
And it is good enough almost to me to accept it as is. And I don't consider it being full of fear, full of retraction or contractions or closed off energy or something that it's heavy. It's like playing with me. I almost feel like part of me is teasing me to show me that it's still part of me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I'm saying? Because I love to dwell on things that my mind cannot comprehend. But at the same time, my mind is still mine. It's still
Yeah.
there.
Mm-hmm.
And I will never, I mean, I will eventually, but not now, not in this moment of me very much being conscious and unconscious, alive, also reprogrammed and programmed and part of collective and part of everything. It's like at some point it won't let me, and I should let it not let me. Do you see what I'm saying? Which makes it lighter and sounds funny, and I barely laugh at me,
Mm-hmm.
who has all the parts of me, including the mind. So I'm letting it win this one time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And here's another
It's
thing you said. I could never even tell that that's the part. It's like, you see how internal this is? It's like I'm looking at it and I was like, I want my heart to merge with yours. I want my consciousness to come into your. This is what I want. This is what actually occurs most of the time without me thinking about it, right? I want my heart to blast open itself. But I think my heart now is on it's in Cancun in Mexico, I think. It's chilling under the sun and rays of something, who knows what and where.
mm.
Right? I love that energy of merging, and I love to be touched by supreme forces and, like feel with you there and exchange. But I think this time around for me, it was a different level, different field that we actually exchanged, also beautifully, but not what I'm so used to it. So I welcomed the novelty of it, right? Does it make sense?
I
I just
hear
said a
you.
lot.
I
Okay.
hear you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And yeah, it's I'm just gonna say you're a fun dance partner.
Can I admit something? I
Of
woke up at
course.
5. First thought, I need to cancel. I woke up and then I snooze my alarm. 5:15, I need to cancel. And this is first thought. I'm not even
Hmm.
thinking about it. I need to cancel. I can't do this today. I need to cancel. So for the good hour and snoozing of 8 minutes times divided 60 divided on 8 minutes, that's a quite large amount of times that the same thought occurred and occurred. And then I woke up and I was like, bitch, no. And then I recalled Steiner's devotion to the truth as part of 3 steps of the path that you're on, like probation and enlightenment, and then initiation, and how the clearing of devotion, the devotion has to live inside of you for something. And I loved that. And I was like, okay, well, I am devoted to this. And the moment I acknowledged my devotion is the moment I woke up forcing myself to do it. Actually, my whole body said no to this conversation today.
Oh,
And this came from the field. And I was like, because I think part of me was also afraid to end it, right?
yeah.
You remember, because last time I said we have less and less things to talk about. I wonder what we're going to talk. And then it's ironic because then I looked into how many more we have, and it's 6 more or 7 more. To me, this is the threat to ending.
Oh,
So do you see it's all this unconscious thing saying, oh no, I almost like self-sabotaged this whole
yeah.
conversation right up front before I even woke up. How wild. But that too is
Hmm.
part of the being, right? Be the awareness, and like I am able to recollect these pieces together and still show up for it, whatever, even if it's totally presenting itself in a self-sabotaging way. I'm not going to
Yeah.
get what I actually want. And that's the beauty. It's like not wanting anything rather than getting what is there, including what I limit by words saying its surface. It's just everything.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Yeah, this came up so clear for me yesterday on my birthday.
Mm.
Um, like, oh, this isn't what, like, I don't know why this thought kept coming up because Carly treated me so well and she was gracious and she made food for me and she was like, "Do you want to do this or this?" She was just like a great little friend to have on my birthday journey. And um the kids were just emotional and I'm like I just heard myself going, some birthday, just get to, have my kids screaming and crying. And I was like, I was like, stop. I was like, why is this moment not perfect still? And I was like, what is the gift? And then I looked down and I'm like, oh, the gift is I get to just relax and kiss my baby boy. And I think I had this idea of what a birthday is supposed to look like
Mm.
and what people would say if their kid was crying on their birthday. But that doesn't apply to me because I know these kids are deeply intuitive, more than I am. I know they know their own needs in their own bodies, but also what I need. And part of what I need is to feel like I'm giving a gift to somebody, like I'm providing, like being a father is part of my identity. It's part of what makes me me, and it's the gift in the moment. So it was like just these opportunities to reframe kept coming up, and the minute I accepted, the minute that my birthday was perfect. And another example is it's been really, really rainy here. And it was a rainy, cloudy day. And Carly's like, do you want to go to the beach, like my favorite beach, or do you want to go to the hot ponds? And lately everyone's been like wanting to go to the hot ponds, and I'm just like not really. I'm not into like soaking and sitting. I want to like run and sprint and play and flip and do all these things. And I was like, we're gonna go to the beach. and no one else went because it was rainy and cold and cloudy. But, you know, my three boys and I were naked, swimming in the water, playing on the beach, digging holes. Carly got to take a nap with Koa. It was just like a beautiful day. The more that I let go of what it was supposed to look like.
Hmm.
And it was just such a clear example of like this phenomenon that comes in from the mind continuously telling us you don't have what you actually want. You need to do this. You need to desire. You need to reach for this. You need to, it's like stillness, quiet, settle into the heart, settle into the gut, allow it to be. And it's in the allowance that you learn that you're participating in this dance. It's like how much resistance you have to someone who's dancing with you. It's like just learn to let go and
Yeah.
play with the energy. So, yeah, even like I just want to acknowledge from you um the admissions, the truth telling about like, oh, this is silly and I'm not here. I can't get into it. And um, just admitting where you're at, it's also part of the dance. And I think it enriches and enlivens, maybe potentially being able to undulate back up allows you to go deeper next time. Who knows? I'm just over here and then I recognize in myself. I'm over here and I'm just like tempting. I just want to tempt you to do the opposite of where you're at. I don't know why. It comes up for me. But I also recognize that's part of the enjoyment I get from these conversations and these interactions is
Naturalness.
yeah.
And you said, I just want to tempt you to do this. And I'm like, oh, hell no. Don't tempt me. And then you were like, but I don't even know why I'm doing it. I was like, thank God. This, like, don't try to
Yeah,
change
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
states, right? It's like, and it's so cool. And I want to acknowledge something too, which also it's coming to, I'm realizing this. That's why I don't want to know. That's why I don't want to identify with it. That's why I say, no, I'm not enlightened, right? It's like, because whatever. But it's like have an innate refusal of it because I don't want to stop me
Well,
to
it's a
get
label. Yeah.
yes. And because the moment as it feels like the moment I label it and then conceptualize it, I will crave it. I get into that moment of, ooh, I want this. And I don't want to know what I want. I actually don't ever want to find out. I want to allow myself to be, and I want all that was me up to yesterday to disappear. I don't want to hold on to it. I want past to be there for whatever reason else other than me identifying with it. I want it to support me. I want it to evolve. You see, now I'm able to get into it because I'm feeling myself through the evolution of, well, first, I'm feeling free because you didn't try to change me, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
feel witnessed by these exposure. I exposed myself to internal processing out loud in front of you, and you just didn't budge, which is beautiful. And
Mm-hmm.
that allowed me to drop deeper. So, when just a side way to acknowledge that. So I just want to thank you for it. But the moment we have this innate needs to change someone is the moment that someone is closing off because the point is
Yeah.
not to change what is occurring. The point is to allow it. And even if I'm trying to identify it or you not identify it or change it or elaborate about it or feel it or close it or be in silence, it's all the part of the process. I
Mm-hmm.
love that I can do this, right? So it's not because there's an embarrassment part of it. There is also a shame that comes in, a
Yeah.
little bit of a humiliation in a sense, or right? So, but there is also a love, a softness, a tenderness to what is occurring. And my trials are also humble that I'm trying to be something which I'm not at the moment, that I'm
Yeah.
trying to understand what I cannot, that I'm trying to figure out this image that I have of the wall, which often comes in trauma as well. It's like the wall that I have to penetrate through rather than just let the day be as it is.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. Beautifully said. Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome.
So,
Thank you.
Ah,
Thank you. I'm someone I recognize now too. I'm someone who invites the play, and then I have to recognize when my invitation becomes um compulsory so it's like yesterday I'm like Carly's like it's just cold. I don't want to go in the water. I'm like come on, and I'm amping everybody up because I'm like I know I need it too. It's like if I can get in that state of like I'm not gonna play, it's too cold. And I'm like, okay, I'll race you. I'll race you across the beach. And then I get the boys involved. I'm like, how much head start does mom need to beat me? And then so everyone's engaging in it. And we
mm,
get down there and she's like, no, I'm good. You go race the boys. And I had to recognize like, and you see it if you've ever been to the beach, you see it with couples where this is a common thing that happens is the guy picks up the girl or like the masculine partner picks up the feminine partner and it's like
yeah.
I'm gonna take you in no matter what you want and then you'll learn how to like the water. It's like it's a it's not a very gentle kind way to approach it, and what he or what the masculine misses in that moment is this seed of distrust and safety. This question around safety is lost, so it's like in
Mm,
developing intimacy with another in this dance, you and I both have to feel that it's safe to share and it's safe to tell our story and it's safe to tell the truth and it's safe to just not feel it. And,
yeah.
I just want to um, invite you to a place of if you wake up and you don't feel it, you can you can tell me. And if it's the end, we don't have to say it. We can just ease ourselves into it. It's like we can I think the death of what is can also be part of the dance. It should also be part of the dance, meaning there's still push and pull as we part ways. And who knows
Can
how
I
that
just
goes
clarify
out.
something? This is
Sure.
not going to end because it's ending every time we talk. It's not going to end because it's ending. This was my moment of facing a force that would stop me on my path. And let me explain this. I think, and I think it's actually has to do with a lot that I read this week on it. And let me elaborate on it. I think it's going to be really cool to understand this. In Steiner's words, which I, by the way, really like a lot, a lot. He cuts clearly, distinctly experience of going through the passage or path and sections of the path in probation. And as you go, and let me just visualize it as a staircase, right? As this next step you make, you're going to be faced with the equal power to stop it, right? And he comes back to that. But what is that first finding that in probation period, you're kind of building your structure in order to sustain yourself through every step that you're about to make that will just become harder and harder. And the truth itself is going to hold your back straight so you can actually continue in the structure to
Yeah.
sustain the visibility, right? So I am faced by saying no. Oh, so tempting. And my whole body, and I don't, this is not my truth. I just want to be clear.
Mm-hmm.
There's not one part of me in my truth that says no to this, not one part, but everything else. When I'm tired and I'm not sleep because this whole week, last 2 weeks, I have not slept through one night.
Mm-hmm.
And I can find a million other excuses already programmed in my body to say no, to go to the gym, to meet friends, to exchange with you. So this is becoming stronger and stronger for me to say, which only means I have to reinstate my truth,
Yeah.
right? In which I find my depth to become so much bigger than I am even expecting it to be after every conversation because of that exchange and because
Mm-hmm.
of that possibility. Because you and I are in a sense of, we're contemplating. Our channel is called Contemplations. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing more in this part of my life that I want for my mind than to learn how to contemplate.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
find it possible to contemplate as only when I contemplate, when I allow my mind to contemplate, I feel my mind is learning how to help me. So,
Mm-hmm.
of course, the whole soul of me is saying, no, you're going to show up. And it's such a soft, gentle, even if the mind comes in and says, because everything I'm presenting to my mind is for the betterment of us both, or three, or whatever that I have, how many of me. But its job is to tell me no. So I'm trying to catch myself doing this, right? So, and yes, I know what you mean, but I think it's in the same, I think I really connects us to, it's the same way love, when it's completed, will leave. When
Yeah.
things, this is completed, we will both feel it at the same. I trust that more than anything. We will
Mm-hmm.
both feel the ending and it will be a beautiful goodbye. As love lands where it wants to land, when it needs to land to the two to for it to be experienced, and then it completes itself. It's
Mm-hmm.
done and it's ready for a next level of you, which evolved. So I just want to clarify that. But yeah, I'm not, the whole of me said no, but another whole of me also said, yeah, don't show
Yeah.
up, go sleep because I'm tired and so tired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Yeah, that backbone of truth I'm reflecting on when you saw the artifact behind me. And it's like essentially I had this backbone of my own truth, which is like if someone has ill intent, then someone or some entity or whatever has ill intent, then I will deal with it the best way I know how, which depending on the situation, I trust that I can adapt and be kind and gentle if needed and be strong and defensive if needed. And there's also this backbone of truth of like if it's my end, then it's my end. There's like this deeper level of acceptance. And I love that. I love that perspective. In reading The Way of the Golden Flower, he talks about his some of his astral journeys, and he wanted to visit with Rasputin.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Rasputin was like a dark magician that worked for the King Nicholas Tsar II in Russia in the 1800s. And he visited him in the astral, and he was just like in this tavern with wine barrels everywhere and all his fragmented parts. So it was like a busy tavern, but it was all Rasputin, just like fragmented out because he was so uh, led astray away from his essence, which is like your pure divinity that you're connected to, that he was disassociated completely from that piece. And he wanted to talk to him and address like his darkness and why it occurred. And he was so fragmented that this part of Rasputin said to him, "You just lack the ability to see with clarity," and said to Samael, who was astral traveling. And he goes, "I knew in my truth that he was delusional, so I left him there." And it's like that's the piece because this entity, which is participating in dark or evil forces, started with an invitation, not an open declaration of destruction or despair or whatever. It was an invitation. You lack the
Yes.
ability to see with clarity. And he knew, he's like, I'm in clarity. You can't deceive
Yes.
me. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. But knowing your own truth, not what someone else tells you is true.
Hmm.
And for that, it takes time to get to know oneself, to experience yourself as truth.
Yeah.
What is it? Like, we claim we know it. We know nothing. We know nothing unless it's irrevocable. In it's to,
Experiential.
and it's complete present.
Hmm.
Like in a sense, these are the values. Like, right? So eventually we'll talk about the morals and ethics in the spirituality, where all of this not knowing is actually leading us to come and find it. What is it? It's like how do you know you're spiritually ethical?
Yeah.
At every given moment, everybody thinks they're right. Actually, they're in their truth.
Hmm.
Everybody feels, thinks, and believes that that's what they present themselves to be and feel and live by is truth.
Yeah.
And at some
Hmm.
point, we'll need to say, but that of yours is not my truth. Your truth is not my truth,
Hmm.
which will even get a further sense of total disconnect,
Hmm.
not oneness, right? So,
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see the change in some of the archetypes of fiction, fantasy, like the superhero trope, superhero and villain.
mm,
And there's actually this attachment between the villain and the superhero. It's if I don't know if you saw Dark Knight, but it was very clear the Joker needed Batman to feel he needed that interaction and he needed him to stay alive to feel this sense of purpose and or meaning or whatever or
hmm
joy like joy from the insanity of it. Um, and I feel like that trope or that archetype is shifting because it's no longer about the attachment in that way. It's much more about this exploration from within about what's true for us.
mm,
So yeah, sorry, rabbit trail.
all good. Cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Much love.
Adios.